The podcast at KCAAradio.com.
KCAA. KCAA now presents Crossroads, a program in the public interest, bringing you the issues you need to hear about here in our community. Now here's your host, Mark Westwood.
And good afternoon to you. Welcome. It's just a little after the hour of 2 o'clock. I'm Mark Westwood, of course, on KCAA 1050 AM, 106.5 FM, the stations that leave no listener behind. And welcome to Community Crossroads. Today I have a very fine guest in my studio, very distinguished guest, a friend from political journeys and out and about in the community. Connie Leyva is with us, so
Hello,
we welcome
Mark.
you. Hello. And for those just joining us, Connie Leyva has a distinct history, one of activism, one of community activism, one of working in the labor unions. She was president of UFCW 1428 for 12 years, and also the California Labor Federation, president of that as well. She survived that, and if she didn't get more, then she decided to go into the California State Legislature,
Yes.
where she served as a California State Senator for 8 years.
That is correct.
Distinguished service there.
Thank you.
And now we have something in common because, well, you have the title director of KVCR TV and FM.
Yes, I do.
Congratulations on your new
Thank you.
job.
Very
you
excited.
Just took the captain's wheel
Yes.
about
December
in
5th.
December 5th. And of course, you know, I'm the general manager as well. So the news, opinions, and ideas of this program don't necessarily reflect the news, opinions, and ideas of the management or staff at KVCR, but they kind of are.
They're similar.
They're very similar because
Yes.
they're kind of wearing two hats here.
Yes.
And we also have Manny joining us here as her assistant. And welcome, Manny. You can't see him. He's in the background for those people who are watching on video. And, of course, he can talk loud once in a while and we can hear him. But welcome, Manny, too. It's a privilege to have you. Looking very official and distinguished there in his his suit and everything else. And, of course, we always want to thank Eric Casario in the booth pushing the buttons and stuff like that. So it's an exciting time because, you know, paths have crossed here and there. And, of course, you were in Sacramento for 8 years.
Yes, 8 years. I was just thinking when you started the show, we've known each other a really long time.
Isn't it amazing?
Yes, because I think, how long were you at the Carousel Mall?
Well, they started June 24th, which, by the way, is my birthday.
Happy almost birthday.
Yeah, 25 years ago, whatever that date is. And I was there for 3 years before I became general manager.
Okay.
And it was never my intention to become general manager. And it was never my intention to even work full time there.
Wow.
But
And here you
I wound
are.
up, here I am, and I said, well, I'll take it for 1 year.
And how many years ago was that? 'Cause
11.
I was thinking it's been about 20 years that we've known each other.
Yeah, 11
wow.
years, yeah.
That's
Lots
great.
of people have crossed my, you know, Congressman Pete Aguilar, Congressman Gloria Negrete McLeod, who was Assembly member Gloria Negrete McLeod, State Senator Gloria Negrete McLeod.
Yes.
I've had, you know, presidential candidates on here, and don't ask me the guy's name because he didn't win. He was running for Democrat, one of like the 12 candidates before they kind of got
Narrowed down.
a millionaire from up in Sacramento. But,
Oh.
you know,
Yeah.
it's good
I'm
to
sure
talk to him.
I'm sure he knows about the common person, but anyway.
Yeah. It was a very interesting interview. Howard Dean.
Howard
long
Dean,
time.
you know, you think about why his presidential campaign ended and what we've been through with
my gosh.
President Trump, and it makes Dean look like a pussycat.
Yes. And I promised I wouldn't get off into politics. 'Cause
Sorry.
this is not a political politics.
Yes.
Don't get me started. But,
Me neither.
grand juries are not Democrats, people.
That's right.
That's all I will say.
That's
You know,
right.
It's not a Democratic witch hunt
Nope.
because grand juries are people of all walks in life.
That's
so,
and all parties.
Yeah, so that's the only fact I will say.
Fair enough.
But you make up your own mind, folks. Anyway, I think a lot of people have. But, okay, let's get back on what we're supposed to be doing here.
Sounds good.
It's very tempting because, you know, I have that side of me too. Slowly I turn. Anyway, 8 years in the state legislature and the dedication it takes to do that, flying back and forth
Yes.
from,
Yes.
you know, your hometown up to Sacramento and having to, you know,
Yes.
during holidays and everything
Yep.
else and
Yep.
spending a lot of time on either JetBlue or
Southwest. Southwest and I are very good friends. You know, and when I ran for office in 2014, Mark, the The biggest question I had is, how am I going to do living away from home 4 days a week? And I knew I wouldn't like it, but my favorite husband said, we're going to make it work because I think you'll be great at that job. And we did make it work for 8 years. But
Wait a minute. Your favorite
my
husband?
favorite husband.
Sounds like you have more than one.
It does sound like that. After 34 years, he's the favorite.
He's the favorite.
And the only. It's my little name for him.
What is his name? Actually?
His actual name is Albert Leyva, Al Leyva.
That's right. I
Yes.
remember that.
Yeah, I
now.
know you've met him.
I've met
long,
him. Yes.
long ago.
Yes. At a picnic or something.
Something,
somewhere.
exactly. But you know, and I tell people, if you do the job right, it's a really hard job. And you know, just you want to. I always felt guilty if I said no, if I said we couldn't be at an event or whatnot. But we didn't say no too much on Team Leyva. But the flying every Monday, coming home every Thursday, really is exhausting. In September of last year, I got to give up my apartment that I'd had for 8 years. So that was kind of fun to now just have one residence and all my shoes are in the same place. I kind of like that.
Toothbrushes in the same place.
Yeah,
all the
well, I
time?
had two, you know, I had two of everything. So it's kind of nice. So we gave a lot of stuff away, but it was a wonderful experience. I feel very grateful and honored that I got to be the senator for the 20th Senate District. We had over 50 bills signed into law, and
Well, doggone it, I think you did a good job.
Thank you.
Too. It was great to have you there.
Thank you. And they were, you know, most of them were landmark legislation, stuff people had tried and couldn't get done, or just ideas that we had to fix things. So it was a great run.
So I thought maybe she would turn towards, you know, anything like Attorney General, Secretary of State, you know, Controller, something. Or state assembly, because you could still run for state assembly one term.
Yeah, no. If I was going to go back, I would never go back to the assembly. I'd go back to the Senate.
Okay.
There is a difference in the houses.
Oh, okay. I understand. Upper house, lower house.
Yes.
But, you know, that, you know, you never know. And
You
then
never
all of
know.
a sudden, I pick up the newspaper one day. There's Connie's bright, shiny, very, very, very attractive face.
Thank you.
And there she is, smiling as the new director of KVCR. And I went,
What?
wow, talk about reinventing.
Yes.
In COVID times, we call that pivoting.
Yes.
This was a 360-degree pivot. It was just, wow, that's great.
Well, and I have to tell you, it's something I never saw coming. I was running for supervisor, which you may know, and I lost. And the executive vice chancellor at San Bernardino Valley College reached out to me and said, would you be interested in applying for the job? And I said, well, I just want to make sure you know I've never worked in radio or TV. I've been on radio and TV, but I've never worked in it. And he says, we want the skills that you have with people. We want your people skills. We want the skills you have with the community. We want to engage more in the community. I said, well, that I'm good at. I can do that. And it just seemed like a really unique opportunity. And so I said yes. And here I am, loving every minute of it.
Yeah, it is a great profession. That's
It
why I'm
is.
still here. I'm in radio. I don't make as much money, but, you know, hey.
It's true. Radio
It's just-
doesn't. Yeah, that is
it's,
true.
But, you know, I love my job.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've managed to accrue another radio station, too. So
Impressive.
It's my own. So, and I was a graduate and of the KVCR
I love
program
that.
and everything else.
That's
and I
great.
love it. 91.9 FM, KVCR.
Yep, that's us. Yep, Channel
And
24.
I
and
worked there on the
91.9 FM.
weekends, and I worked in the TV studio as well, Master Control and studio.
Oh,
and
Master
everything.
Control, yes.
And all kinds of stuff there. But of course, that was all analog back then.
Yeah,
so,
not anymore.
Not anymore. But just I digress for a minute. There was a lady named Shirley Harlan, a wonderful lady. She was a very big Democratic activist with the League of Women Voters. And you might have known Shirley if I showed you a picture. She was 93 years old when she finally passed away. But
Wow.
she had a business called the Video Lady.
The Video Lady.
And they did stuff for Huell Hauser and people like that.
Oh, very
So
important.
if you've ever watched Huell Hauser,
Yes.
most of that was Video Lady editing. And she had a TV studio built in her garage up on
Oh.
40th Street.
That's cool.
Oh, it was really neat. It was really neat, but it was all analog.
Oh.
And we had to tear it all apart because, you know, nobody uses analog
No.
anymore. It was so hard to take these very expensive, very professional equipment.
Yes.
But back in the day, we would have all been like, let me have it.
Right.
And just kind of mostly just chuck it for its weight in metal.
Yeah.
But it's changed so much. The
So
industry has
much.
changed so much. So you don't have to have a lot of what I call razor blade and tape editing kind of
Very
experience
true.
anymore. It's all Adobe Sound Editor or, you know, all kinds of vMix or whatever, video editing and things like that, which we use here, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And, you know, it's a different thing. So they're right. You don't have to have all that kind of skill. And a lot of general managers anyway don't have that.
Yeah.
And so you do have a lot of people skills, And I think you'll be good at that. And they need somebody to get out there and make the connections.
Yes.
KVCR is changed a lot too. It's pivoted.
Yes, it has.
About maybe 4 years ago now.
Maybe. I don't know.
4 years ago, Gloria Lucia Harris and John Longbill and the Board of Trustees over there decided, let's participate in the Spectrum auction.
Okay.
And they auctioned the TV part of it off.
Yes, yes.
And changed that quite a bit.
Yes.
And I think you just have a translator in Palm Springs now.
Yes.
Maybe a very low power TV station.
Yes.
Off of Box Springs Mountain, but I'm not sure anymore. I get everything on streaming or cable or whatever. So and that has changed too. A lot of people watch it on that. And so mainly now it used to be called Empire. Now it's called something different, right?
Now it's just KVCR Public Media, which is PBS, NPR, and FNX, which is our First Nations Experience channel, the only one in the country. But yeah, we are rebranding ourselves. One of the previous general managers was a big Star Wars fan, so he added Empire on everything. That really made no sense to me, and I'm afraid it probably made no sense to anyone else. We want people to know what we are. We are KVCR. We are your local public media station. We will be working towards going to streaming because we know that's where the future is as well. But I tell people, Mark, we are the hidden gem in the Inland Empire. And we're going to continue to be a gem, but we're not going to be hidden anymore. One of the things that Manny and I have done in the few months that we've been there is we are bringing different organizations and groups through to see the station. People are quite impressed when they come through. Everything is state of the art. We have a beautiful studio.
I bet you do. I've never seen it. I'm
Well,
gonna put
you just
on the
come
spot.
on. You just come on over anytime. I'm pretty much
Okay.
there every day, Monday through Friday. You come on over.
You mean I could just walk in the door?
You could just walk right in the door.
They're not
Absolutely.
going to pat search me or anything?
Nope, nope. And where my office is, I actually see everybody who's walking in. So I'll tell them, don't let him in. I'm just kidding.
I don't blame you. But anyway.
But no, please come by. And I
Okay.
think, people, I'm learning the vernacular, learning what an interstitial is. It's like a commercial, but it's an interstitial where we put two shows together.
By the way, KVCR is a public broadcasting.
Is public broadcasting,
And so
exactly.
one of the things that's stipulated by the FCC is they can't run a regular commercial.
That is correct.
They can run a spot. We do that on KQLH because it's also nonprofit.
Right.
And so, we can't state a price in our commercials
Right.
or spots. We call them spots. We don't allow them to be called
we call
ads or commercials.
and we call them underwriting.
Underwriting, yeah. and then you can't mention a call to action.
Nope.
Can't come and buy something right now.
Right.
Come on
Nope.
down.
And you can't
do
say that you're the best.
And comparative, yeah, you got that.
Comparative, yes.
Ah, so you've done your homework. You know that. So
I'm getting a little smarter every day.
interstitial was a word I just learned from you.
Yes, I love that word just because it's a cool word. So an interstitial is like a commercial, and it stitches two pieces of material together.
Write that down, Eric, for me, would you? Interstitial.
And come by and we'll show you an interstitial.
Oh, okay, very good, very good. We produce a lot of audio content that way, and I am constantly screening stuff, and it's like, no, we can't say that, we can't do that. Take
Right.
that back, take it out of there.
And candidly, I'm learning how we, if somebody does underwriting and they'll say to me, well, Connie, can we do this or this? I talk to one of our experts because we have a great staff at KVCR, and they let me know this is how we will say it. So I'm getting better at it.
You don't want to get an
Watch me
NAL
buy.
from the FCC.
I do not.
You know what that is
I
yet?
do not, but it doesn't sound good.
Notice of apparent liability.
Oh,
You
yeah, no, we don't want that. No.
They come in starting at $50,000.
Yeah, that sounds real bad.
No, you don't want to do that. So, most of the time, if you make a mistake here and there, I've found the FCC is pretty reasonable.
Good.
But if you continue a practice of it, then they come down.
That's
on you
fair
pretty
enough.
hard.
When I was in the labor movement and we would file grievances, I used to always give the manager a warning and say, hey, next time I'm going to file a grievance. And if they continue to do it, then you file the grievances. So it sounds like it's the same way.
Yeah, and the FCC kind of is, they have their policies and their fines and their penalties through the U.S. Attorney's Office. The U.S. Attorney probably doesn't want to collect anything under $30,000. So,
Right.
but they find to impose harm on multi-million-dollar or billion-dollar companies.
Wow.
Which I know that you're not, and we are certainly not. There was a little LPFM, locally powered FM,
Okay.
100 watt, that's like I was telling
Yes.
you, FM, in Greeley, Colorado, that decided they were just going to run commercials.
Oh.
And they got caught. and they got the notice of apparent liability for $173,000.
I bet it put them out of business. No?
They negotiate out of it, I think. But
good for them.
They're making payments.
And there you go. You know,
They
I am by
change their ways.
nature, I'm a rule follower. Tell me what I'm supposed to do, and I will do it because it just makes life easier that
Yes,
way.
it does. So let's talk about positive things here.
Let's do that.
And your ideas and visions for KVCR as the new leader of the KVCR. So tell me exactly what your responsibilities are now.
You got it. So when I was hired, I was tasked with increasing viewership, which is a challenge because the only way to really do that is through the Nielsen ratings, which aren't terribly accurate. So we're figuring out ways to do that. To one, find our baseline. To increase membership, that's easy. We know what our membership is now, so we have a baseline there. To make sure that we are completely self-sufficient because we do not receive any funding from the college, and then
None whatsoever.
zero. I mean,
That's changed.
they keep our lights on for us, but that's it. Yeah, and then they send the custodian over to empty the trash and keep the bathrooms clean, which I'm grateful
That's
for.
supportive, but
yes,
kind of not as
but
much as it used to be.
$0. So, and that's fine. When I hired, like I said, just tell me what you want me to do and be clear about it, and we will do it. I talked a little bit about us being the hidden gem. I want us out in the Inland Empire more. I want to do stories. I want people interviewing people in the Inland Empire. And that takes money. So Manny here is writing grants for me left and right. And we're waiting for some of those
Manny.
to come in.
I want to talk to you later on, okay?
Yeah, he's doing a great job.
Mind if I steal your grant writer for a minute?
I do
No, I'm just
mind.
kidding. I'm just kidding you.
I know
I'm
you
just
are.
kidding.
But we want reporters out there. We want reporters talking about what's happening. One of my visions is, you'll remember in November, we had a really big mayor's race in Los Angeles. Everybody was talking about Karen Bass. Love Karen Bass. That's wonderful. But we had a really big mayor's race in San Bernardino, too. Helen Tran, the first Vietnamese woman, person, ever elected mayor in any city in the country. So I want to have people on staff to cover that. I think people in the Inland Empire want to know that. They want to know what's happening.
And yet we had a really low election turnout, and the
Yes.
primary was won between all the candidates, including the losing mayor.
Yeah. Yes.
That I don't think they got 14,000 votes amongst them all.
It's just disappointing. But I think, I mean, to digress just momentarily.
246,000 some people in San Bernardino.
I think people feel disenfranchised from politics. And that's something else I want to do is start a show and talk to our elected officials. What does your lieutenant governor do? What does your county supervisor do? Nonpartisan, just tell people so people know. And also I want people, I'm big on civic engagement. People don't realize or know that people are making decisions that affect your life every single day at every level of government.
And, if you don't vote, I'm going to pitch it here, you're allowing someone else to represent
That's
you.
exactly right. That's
And,
exactly right.
I worked it out one time in a low election turnout in San Bernardino City. I think it was one voter would represent 13 people
Wow.
because there were 77,000 registered voters in the
Okay.
city of San Bernardino.
Okay.
Even though there's more population, not as everybody's
Right.
registered
But
to vote.
registered voters, yeah.
And so even you divide that all up, and it's like,
Yeah,
it's heartbreaking. But they've had to steer some of them choppy waters because of it. I think we have a good-hearted, well-intentioned mayor
I think we do too.
who is learning a lot real quick.
Yep.
And hopefully she's surrounding herself with good people.
Yes, and I think she is. We've had some conversations, and I've given her some of that advice.
How wonderful that you're in the area and that she could do that.
Yes, happy to do it.
And
Yeah.
good for you. Good for you.
Well, it affects all of our lives, when we have, no matter, I mean, I don't live in San Bernardino, but I want to see people in San Bernardino do well, and that starts with the leadership. So if I can ever be helpful in any way, I'm always happy to do that.
It breaks my heart. We have down on Southeast Street, 320 Southeast Street's a gem called the Andreessen Building. It used to be the
Yes.
Enterprise Building.
Yes.
Built by John Andreessen, who was the son of a brewer,
Wow.
and then he was a county supervisor for 23 years.
23 years, wow.
They flew the flags at half-mast when he died. He's the only county supervisor to ever receive a crown from the people. That's kind of an interesting little sideline.
That is interesting and cool.
And
Good for
cool.
him.
He died in like the 50s, though.
Wow.
But they named the building after him. He built that building in honor of his father, and it's a solid building. It's
Yeah.
great, and the new owners have really done a great job.
Right on.
Pitching for them. And 320downtown.com, just in case you want to look at it. 320downtown.com. And but everywhere around, the Harris Building is not only closed, It's flooded with fire sprinklers that still are running today.
No.
Yes.
Why can't we get those turned off?
That's a good question.
Yeah. I mean,
And
cap them.
And the guy in the Andreessen building or the Enterprise building he's been peeling for that to happen.
Wow.
How hard is that? We have the entire mall now that has a fence around it.
Yeah.
And of course that's helping with the vandalism and the violence
Correct.
and everything else. And then you have across the street, you have a flooded out, damaged convention center, a closed city hall, and a closed hotel. And so, yeah, she's got it. But the rest of San Bernardino
Yeah.
is doing well.
Is doing well. Nothing but potential. Nowhere
Yeah.
to go but up.
Good neighborhoods. There's bad neighborhoods, but just like any big city.
That's any city. Yeah.
Any big city. And, they've got up the area by Cal State San Bernardino. They got Southern San Bernardino.
Yep.
They have a lot of stuff going on. And so if they can just improve about 5 or 6 city blocks,
Be huge.
it would be huge for the
Huge.
image of San Bernardino.
That's right. And bring people back in.
Right.
Bring San Bernardino back to what it was when I was a kid many, many
Mm-hmm.
years ago, where people liked coming here, wanted to be here. I mean, look at today. It's an absolutely gorgeous day.
Yeah.
When I was in the Senate, I was always advocating for the Inland Empire. And I'm like, we don't live on the coast, but we live someplace better. We live
Mm-hmm.
someplace where you can see the mountains almost every day. I did a lot of work on smog issues to make sure we could see the mountains and we have healthy air to breathe. But we live in a wonderful place. We can be anywhere in about 45 minutes, which is pretty exciting.
I was born in Fort Bliss, Texas, which
Okay.
is right next to El Paso, which is
Okay.
right on the New Mexico-Texas border. And it's a heavily Latino population, military population. It was very similar to San Bernardino was.
Okay.
Because San Bernardino used to have a base. And they are doing wonderful, great things.
There you
And there's
go.
no reason why we can't take that 43 acres in downtown San
Yeah.
Bernardino and do some wonderful, great things that can help KVCR, can help everybody.
Yes.
So
Yes.
it's kind of like ground zero down there.
It is.
But, we can come back out of it.
We can.
And it's so good to have you on board on KVCR because
Thank you.
that's another place of the media, another piece of the media
Mm-hmm.
that can help. So you're in charge of fundraising, of
Yes,
course,
yes.
and charged with that. Are you also seeing over the academic part of KVCR?
Yes. So I didn't finish what I was saying. Sorry about that. But the other thing is student involvement. And the community college wants us engaged with the students, student interns, which I love. I was the chair of Senate Education, and I love students. They are our future. So we are working with them. We have 6 interns right now. We want to have more interns. They do a variety of different things. Mostly what they do now is either on the TV or the radio side. But we also want to bring in students that do marketing, students who have other skills. Maybe it's accounting. So we are not just singularly focused at KVCR. We want to make sure we're bringing everybody along. So working on building that and making sure we have plenty of student interns.
And certainly they can help you with your social media.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Well, right now Manny is getting us up and running. We were laughing when we first, being in the Senate, you post everything. You want your face and your name out there. And so when we first started, I'm like, I don't really ever see anything about KVCR. And I said, Manny, let's start posting, which really means, Manny, can you start posting, please? And so now, we want it out there. Name recognition, as you well know, is so incredibly important. And again, we are the hidden gem. We will always be the gem. We do not want to be hidden. We are the outlet for the Inland Empire. We want to be the media aggregator in the Inland Empire. We just started a
And
new
it
show.
can be done.
And it can be done. I know it can. I mean, I tell people I've been there 4 months. Give me a year. Give me 5 years.
That's right.
Yeah. So we've got a lot to do. We just started a show, Inland Empire Latino Voices, and Yvette Walker is our host. It's a 5-minute radio segment that we hope to turn into a TV show. But again, that takes funding. So everything a little bit at a time and the building blocks. But, we're 70% Latino in the Inland Empire. So we don't have enough programming reaching out to our biggest group. And how do we reach out to younger people? You know who watches our show, Channel 24?
People who watch Lawrence Welk.
Yes. White women over 65.
Yeah,
And
needs to-
we need to make sure that we are increasing our base, but we have to have programming for that. So we're working on that.
Buy-in.
But
The buy-in is what it is.
The buy-in, that's exactly right. But
get
I
to
have
see
to go
them
back
all
to
there.
Lawrence Welk. We just got a check in the mail about a month ago from a viewer who said, "Don't ever get rid of Lawrence Welk.
I love Lawrence
Here's a check for $500."
Real quickly, I'll give you the dime
Okay.
presentation of Lawrence Welk on my life. My grandfather was German,
Okay.
and they left Germany because they had to under, whatever, my great-grandfather rather.
Okay.
And they immigrated through Russia for a few years and farmed in Russia. And they wound up in North Dakota in a place called Devil's Lake. And their cousin was there too, playing the accordion and polka bands, and his name was Lawrence Welk.
Oh my goodness!
So my third cousin or fourth cousin maybe is Lawrence Welk.
That is, you have to tell that story. That is a great story. That is a great story.
That is. I really never met him. My grandfather knew him, but it was. That's a little bit of a connection there. So I always watch that. But when I can,
we're not going to take it off because I think that we would have people picketing at KVCR, and we don't want that.
You can't actually even get the recordings of it like on streaming or anything like that. You have to tune into KVCR at I think it's 5:30 on Saturday or something like that.
Right, there's a specific time. I should know that.
I kind of watch it once in a while when I get a chance. Not often, but to do that because it just kind of makes me feel and reminds me of my grandma and my grandpa.
That's
and
good.
So
good
as a
stuff.
younger person, getting a little older now, but as a younger person, it makes me, it's like comfort food to me.
Yeah, that's great.
That's
well,
what I say.
very, very glad to hear that.
On my radio station, KQLH, which I'm allowed to say here,
Okay.
I call our music the comfort food of the generations because we play 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and from Frank Sinatra all the way up, to Phil Collins.
Love it.
And so we do that sort of thing. And, giving a buy-in to the students, I would like to suggest to you, because I was talking to you, I said HD channels.
Yes.
Which you should have 4 of them.
Yes.
And there's a few people that are going, Mark, don't mention that to her, I'm sure.
Hey, if you don't ask, you don't get.
Anyway, you can lease for fundraising.
Yeah.
You can also take one of those HD channels and make it a entirely student-run operation.
Yes, we could. And again, I'm going to go back to, I've been there 4 months. We are doing some reorganizing, I'll put it that way. There are a few positions that had to be hired, and we're working on that. And really, we have a great staff, and getting the staff to see the vision that I have and get their buy-in, which I think they're getting there, because I can't do it without them. They are the ones that have been holding down the fort for a long time. But I love that idea about the students doing it.
Okay. Well, coming up after the break,
Yes.
because we take a break right about now, let's talk about the visions and maybe some exciting events maybe coming up at KVCR.
Maybe so.
How people can get involved and support KVCR. And we'll have all that with the incredible Connie Leva, the director of KVCR TV and FM, former state senator and union president and federation president, right after this. I'm Mark Westwood on KCAA 1050 AM and 106.5 FM. We'll be back in a minute.
KCAA Loma Linda. The Legacy KCAA 1050 AM and Express 106.5 FM.
The staff and families at Yard House of Temecula takes this time out to recognize and salute the local men and women in uniform standing tall for our political and economic freedom around the world. Let's always remember them in our thoughts and prayers. Their efforts abroad and our support has kept America strong. This message courtesy of your good friends at Yard House of Temecula at 40770 Winchester Road in Temecula. They are always working to keep our community moving in a positive direction.
It's that time of year again. No, not the holidays. Medicare open enrollment. And if you have questions about Medicare, you should talk to the local experts. Paul Barrich and Associates. Paul and his agents are certified with plans that are accepted by most of the medical groups in our area. Call 909-793-0385. Their services are free, and after 41 years in the business, their agents are trained to help you pick the plan that's right for you.
Tahibo Tea Club's original Pure Pau de Arco Super Tea helps build red corpuscles in the blood which carry oxygen to our organs and cells. Our organs and cells need oxygen to regenerate themselves. The immune system needs oxygen to develop, and cancer dies in oxygen. So the tea is great for healthy people because it helps build the immune system, and it can truly be miraculous for someone fighting a potentially life-threatening disease due to an infection, diabetes, or cancer. The tea is also organic and naturally caffeine-free. A 1-pound package of tea is $49.95, which includes shipping. To order, please visit TahiboTeaClub.com. Tahibo is spelled T like Tom, AHEEB like boy, O, then continue with the word T and then the word club. The complete website is TaheeboTClub.com or call us at 818-610-8088, Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. California time. That's 818-610-8088, TaheeboTClub.com.
This is KC.
Oh, that's great.
And I'm also talking to some Teamsters from down in Carson.
Excellent.
They may have another show.
Excellent.
And then we have Stephanie Miller. We had Randy Rhodes, but she decided to go all satellite as of the 1st.
Oh.
So we don't have her. So we're playing Stephanie Miller in the afternoon, too, for right now. And we have Tom Hartman. So we have a lot of progressive
Love
things.
it.
And
Love it.
Eric Bauman, if that name sounds
I
familiar,
remember
is on our
Eric.
radio
Yes.
station.
Oh, very good.
Yeah, he's on Wednesdays at 3.
Wednesdays at 3. Okay.
Right, which is today's?
Thursday. Yesterday.
It was yesterday. It's been a busy week, Connie.
Agreed.
And I'm sure that in your job, sometimes you just turn around and spinning around in your chair and
Well, I have not driven myself to work in 8 years, which sounds ludicrous, but you fly up to Sacramento, you get picked up, you run around the Capitol, you come back, and Manny or someone on staff would pick me up on Fridays and Saturdays to hit all the events. So I am thoroughly enjoying driving to work every day. I get there, and before I know it, I look up and the day's gone. So to me, that's the perfect job.
And I know you, Connie, you're never somebody that doesn't have some strategy or doesn't have a plan.
That is true.
We won't say scheming, maybe. We'll just say
Strategizing.
strategizing.
Let's go with
That's
that.
right.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to hear this because, I have KVCR kind of in my blood.
Yes, thank
near
you.
and dear. And from back in the days of Al Gondos and Don Fertitta and Don Beam and all these names that built the foundation.
Yes.
Back in the old North Hall before the beautiful new studios that you have I've never seen.
You got to come by.
But I will have to come by. The campus is just amazing at Valley College now.
It is.
If you've not been to Valley College in a long time, let me tell you, there was an earthquake fault running through it, so they needed to do some things.
Yeah, it's true.
They moved some buildings, and they reconstructed the whole campus.
Yep.
And I just think there's a couple of buildings left, and I think it's the auditorium and the planetarium and just about every other building. Oh, and maybe the
theater.
The theater
is still original.
Right.
And we're doing some building now. We're building a new softball field, a new career tech building, which I was able to help get funding for when I was in the Senate. A lot going on. And we're even going to make the campus even more beautiful. There's going to be a lot of landscaping going on.
But, if you were there and you were a student like I was, North Hall, gone. Student Union, gone.
Sorry.
Greek Theater's still there.
Yes.
And Liberal Arts is still there.
Yes.
But there's a lot of buildings. Administration building, out of there. The old gym is gone. And there's a lot of things. But the nice thing about it is they built like a 25,000 square foot science and math building.
Yes. It's beautiful.
Beautiful building.
Mm-hmm.
And
Beautiful.
They built another North Hall. They put it on the south side of campus, but
It's still North Hall.
I don't know if it was named after somebody named North. Or it's
Maybe
actually
so. I don't know
supposed
that
to be
either.
a direction. I don't know.
Yes.
But I always thought it was because it was on the north side of campus, it was called North Hall. But
One would think.
One would think, but yeah. So you have to have a vision. Let's.
You
get
have
back
to have
to
a
this.
vision.
I
Yes.
get sidetracked sometimes.
Yes.
So tell me about some exciting events coming up. Do you have a new fundraising drive or what?
We our main source of fundraising right now are our different drives. We're about our pledges. We're getting ready to start Radio Pledge next week. So feel free to call in and become a member of KVCR.
For just $100. On monthly donation. Okay.
You don't even have to do $100. You could do $10 a month. But that is our biggest drive. That's how we, and we have different ways for people to participate, different fundraising ways. People can be an all-day sponsor. They can be a part-day sponsor. We talk about your business while we're raising money for the radio station.
I want the Lawrence Welk CD set.
Okay, you got it. We're
DVD maybe.
We're gonna go back and look for that for you. Well, and candidly, you bring that up. That is something we're reevaluating too. Is the prizes that we give away. We buy a good bit of our content from PBS. This is the TV side, and so they are the ones that come up with some of the giveaways and the things that you get. But if we want to move ourselves into the next era, into the 21st century and beyond. giving someone a CD, which my car is only 4 years old and I cannot play a CD in my car, and it takes 8 weeks to get to you, we have to revisit that. When you have Amazon, you call in the morning or go online in the morning, and 2 hours later, it's right there on your front porch. We have to do a little bit better. We have to find a way to engage our members and future members, have better things, or I shouldn't say better, because some people do still like CDs, but my 31-year-old daughters are not going to call for a CD.
No, that's
so
true.
what are they, and we need to increase that membership. Those are the folks we want to reach out to. We want a younger generation. We love our loyal listeners and watchers. We appreciate them. We don't want to diminish them in any way, but we've got to bring in the next generation.
Well, you just kind of like, you still have the CDs or the DVDs available, but then, then maybe you have a pass or gate key
Yes.
for a website that you can download the whatever.
Exactly. There's so
there's
many
ways to do
ways
it.
that we can do it. The other thing that we're looking at doing is adding on a whole new studio to the back of the studio that we have, because we have almost outgrown it. And if
Really?
we're going to, yes, it's a good problem to have,
Right.
but we also need to raise the money for that, which, I'm ever the optimist. I think that if you have a vision and you can help people to see that vision, we will find the money for it. And building on that studio will allow us to go to streaming. It will allow us to bring in more students. So that's something that is on the maybe 4 to 5 year plan.
Is there such a thing as a KVCR or a foundation or?
Yes, it's called the IFF, the Inland Futures Foundation, and that is our 501c3. I'm the chair of that now, and that is how people can give to us. And when someone wants to write a check, it goes to the foundation, and then that's the money that we use for operating costs.
Wow. Wow,
Yeah.
that's very cool.
It is very cool.
And that's a great fundraising mechanism.
Yes, because a lot of people want to have a tax write-off, so we want to make sure that people can give in any way they're comfortable with.
Absolutely.
People can give us their cars. They can donate cars, which is a really good program that we have. People also leave us in their wills and their trusts, and they leave a percentage of their money to us, which is kind of cool. So.
Well, you have a beautiful auditorium on campus.
We
That's
do.
really kind of nice. You could do concerts there and
Yep.
symphony. Or there's something, I was president of the patrons of the Roosevelt Bowl.
Oh.
There's a WPA era outdoor amphitheater in San Bernardino in Paris Hill Park.
Okay.
It's now been fenced off very nicely, and it's still pretty well kept.
Okay.
And it's an outdoor amphitheater. Be beautiful for symphony concerts
Beautiful.
or something like that.
Yes.
Bring in concerts of the oldies, revival bands or tribute bands or whatever, just to bring some attention to KVCR.
Absolutely. And we thank you. Sorry for interrupting. That is exactly what we want to do. I also want to be out in the community and do the things that I did when I was in the Senate, doing turkey drives, doing concerts, like you said, in the park. Because one of the things I did say when I was hired, I'd been in the Senate for 8 years, and I never once saw KVCR at any of the events that I went to.
They do something with the Redlands Bowl. Now
Yeah,
that I
they
think
do.
about it. Yeah.
They do.
And
Exactly.
that's a phenomenal.
And candidly, I wouldn't have been at that because it wasn't part of my Senate district. But that is exactly right. We do that.
And so, but you have KVCR, you have Create, you have FNX,
Yes.
And-
FNX is amazing.
amazing, and then you have one more, I think, don't you?
You said create. There is one
FNX.
more. 24. I don't remember the
It is
fourth
just,
one.
it's just like a
Yes.
a sub-channel of KVCR.
Yes.
It's another, like, they play
24,
reruns and-
24.1, 24.2, 3, and 4.
Right. So,
Yes.
You've got plenty of space to put things on there.
We
like
really
that.
do. And if I can just take a minute and talk a little bit about FNX, our First Nations experience. It is the only show of its kind in the country that just is 24-hour, 7-day-a-week programming for Indigenous and Native people. I just came back from Vegas yesterday where they had RES, and it's a huge, huge conference. There are about 4,000 participants there, and it's about helping reservations become more independent, become viable economically. So I went there to meet some folks, but what we do on FNX is it's truly remarkable, and that's a brand that we're going to continue to grow.
And of course, I'm
work
sure
on.
you have great synergy with the San Manuel
We do.
tribe.
San Manuel is actually our founding partner. So they're the ones that helped us found it a number of years ago. But we want to make sure all the tribes in Southern California and across the state are involved because we want everyone to tell their story.
So you are a flagship station for FNX.
Yes, that's exactly right. Good way to say it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you say we're the only one in the nation.
Only one in the nation. We're in 29 states right now.
Okay, but it's carried on other TV stations.
Yes, it's carried, but we are the only one of its kind. No one else in the country has a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week show dedicated to Native Americans. So this is where we're looking to stream so that it can be streamed all across the country, because not every state has the capability to actually have FNX on. So we are looking to move to streaming.
I have a Native American radio station.
Oh.
That's in Utah, I believe, that I hear on AM radio sometimes when it's at nighttime.
Yes.
It's very kind of cool. And that's another idea.
You never know.
I'm always thinking and pushing radio. You know that.
I love radio too.
Yeah, and you can't forget about radio.
Never.
My dear 91.9. All Things Considered still there?
All Things Considered is still there, alive and well.
Yeah,
Yes.
and there was some great programming on KVCR
Yes.
radio. And don't miss the opportunity. It is mostly news now.
Mostly news. So in the morning, you'll hear Jessica Greenwell. You might have heard Rick Dulock prior to that, but we've moved over. He is managing radio. Jessica is our voice in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And All Things Considered is David Fleming, and he is on in the afternoon, evening.
Mm-hmm. There was a guy named Jim Ness that used to work there.
I do not know Jim.
Jim is a little older, but he was there, and he did local news.
Okay.
And now he does a website called Inland Empire News Today. Phenomenal website.
Very good. Okay.
You should write that down, Manny.
Okay.
Inland Empire News. Pardon me?
We have him on contract.
Oh, do you? Okay.
Well, there you go.
There you go. So it's such
See?
a big operation.
It's not what you know, it's who you know.
But I was just going to suggest, you contact or consult with him a little bit, because he was, Mr. Local News. He was on all the stations. He had a syndicated news service where he was on
great.
different radio stations. So, there's lots of great talent in the Inland Empire.
There is.
There's a lot of, especially when I turned KVC on, KQLH. Give me the call letters right here.
Yes, yes, they're all different.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to remember all these frequencies and call letters and everything else.
Yes.
But when I turned KVCR, did it again. My mind went back. It's just like wound back.
It's just
25
because you
years.
love KVCR most.
That's right. And I used to say it a lot. KQLH. When I turned KQLH on the air, I got a lot of people who were calling, and old-time radio people and stuff like that. And I'm sure that you might get a lot of that as well.
Yes.
But they want to help.
Yeah. Yes,
And
absolutely.
By gosh, let's tap into that.
Yeah. Agreed.
Why let that go to waste? We've got a few of them here. Sometimes they just want to do a little bit
Yeah, just a little bit.
or produce something, but maybe.
Yeah, we're meeting with a gentleman tomorrow that wants to help us do some producing. So we're meeting with everybody, talking to everybody, and the sky's the limit.
This guy one time came in, he was all on fire. Oh, I love KQLH, and I want to work there, blah, blah, blah. And he worked about 2 or 3 days. He says, me and my wife are going to Pismo Beach, and then after that, we're going to go to Las Vegas. And then after that, they're retired. I said, oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
And I haven't seen him since.
That's hilarious.
'Cause he
Maybe it wasn't
retired.
the job for you.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. He just wanted to say he was there and
Yeah.
put his hands on. So
That's
sometimes
funny.
that happens too. But, that's a great thing. And KVCR is such a resource.
It really, truly is. We can do just about anything that people need to be done. We can do production services. We can do underwriting. We can do just about whatever your need is. We got you.
Mm-hmm. And the more you give people a buy-in, the more local people get involved, the more support you're going to get. And it's just kind of like, we used to say, I was a music major, believe it or not. I started at Valley College as a
Okay.
music major, and then I went to Cal State Fullerton.
Okay.
And then wound up coming back because of some family illnesses and stuff. And I have like 300 units of music.
That's awesome. That's a lot of units.
Because every time, I'll tell you, because he's no longer alive, my professor said, I need to fill this class up, Mark.
Mark, can you come?
I says, I think I'm a little bit past,
This
beginning
particular-
theory 101.
Yeah.
He says, yeah, I'm just going to have you take the test here.
That's great.
Signed me up. And he signed me up, and I just, okay. Because, he wanted
we
the
go.
class to go, and I didn't ever go to sometimes I didn't ever went to the class. 'Cause,
Right.
far
Yeah,
advanced
things to
than
do,
that.
right.
Things to do. And then I had a lot of performance stuff, so it was kind of funny. When they did my grad check at Cal State San Bernardino, because I wound up at Cal State San Bernardino, for graduation, all that, it says, why in the world do you have 327 units of music? I just like music.
I like music. What can I tell you? That's awesome. That's my
dedicated.
passion.
But what happened was the band rehearsal hall and the practice rooms and everything for the music department were directly across the hall in North Hall from the radio station.
Oh.
And I always wondered, I see these towers with the red flashing lights on
Yeah,
them and
yeah,
everything.
yeah, yeah.
Kind of curious of how it all works. So I took a
We had
class
that too.
from a guy named Dale Bricks and Bob Birmingham and those kind of names from back in the day, and I got hooked. I got bit. And
Well, they did a good job. They roped you in.
yeah, they did. And then I was working at Valley College and doing video production as well under a guy named Don Beam. And Don Beam was the chief engineer for KTLA Channel 5.
Oh, okay.
And he also worked for a company called Trinity Broadcasting Network. And he said, I got this student that's really good. Thank you very much. And so they recommended me to go to Europe
Wow.
and to do an organ concert recital service and all that kind of stuff. And I was all really ready to go. And then I got an offer from 99.1
Oh.
radio. And I was stupid. I took it.
Ah.
And I stayed here and let somebody else go. I regret that my whole life. I could have gone to Europe for free.
I
For
don't
like
know. I
4
mean,
months.
that's kind of cool. Oh, 4 months. That was a long time.
Yeah, it was a
Pretty good
long-
deal.
Yeah,
Oh, well.
Should have done it, but could have, should have, would have.
Yeah,
I'm glad
it's
I
all
did it.
good.
I got more experience that way too. So
Yeah.
I liked it and wound up in radio. And a lot of kids around there must be bustling and bristling to
Yes.
be in sound production too.
Sound production, too. Absolutely.
And now you have a film school there.
Well, it's a film school is at the actual college. We don't necessarily teach film. We teach them other skills, camera, all of that good stuff, radio. So they get the theory around film, and they have some of the equipment over there. So they kind of get the best of both worlds. They can learn about film and filmmaking, and then they can come over to us and get kind of the practical stuff that they could use in the real world.
Right.
Not that you couldn't use film in the real world, but it is kind of
And they kind of cross
transitioning
back
out.
and forth and stuff like. Do you
Absolutely.
still use students in video production?
Yes, absolutely. Hmm.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
that's good. That's wonderful.
We're building that back up.
Building that back up.
Yes.
So there was a period of time during COVID and everything else where KVCR, how can I put this gently, was in the waters without an oar.
Yeah, kind of. That's pretty accurate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So
So-
we are rowing with all oars at this point.
You've got both oars in the water.
Yes.
Huh? All oars in the water.
All oars. We have more than one. We're a team. Got lots of oars.
So tell me about your team a little bit.
So we have, we just have so many people that have been there such a long time who've made a career out of working at KVCR. People who've had to learn new things. People who as you said, things have changed. It's not all analog anymore. So people have had to retool, and we've retooled with them or helped them to retool. You might know Lillian Vasquez. She does
do.
Lifestyles with Lillian, which is one of our popular shows, and it's a great way for us to be able to bring people in and spotlight people that are doing a really good job or doing something really cool in the community. And then we just have our backbone of folks that get things done for us, in the video production. We have Tim in the who does everything with the sound and the lighting and the engineering for our what am I trying to say? I can't think of it, but we have a really good
in the
team.
lab or some sort of thing like that.
The
Video
studio.
production, the
Sorry,
studio.
video production in the studio. So he's our main guy for that, and we need to bring a few people on. But
Approximately how many people do you have on staff right now?
I have 14 full-time staff,
Mm-hmm.
not counting me, Manny, and Tony, because we're management. My whole staff is union, which I love, coming from the labor movement.
Great. What union do you belong to?
CSEA, California School Employees Association.
Oh, okay. I
Yes,
got you. I
yep.
got you.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I love that. That is great. I met with the union early on and said, "Hey, you don't have to worry about me. I'm pro-union. I know I went to the dark side. I'm management, but." And then we have
hard.
something called PEs, professional experts, and those are folks that come on to help us on certain projects and whatnot. My goal is to not have any PEs, to have everyone have a full-time job.
Yeah. So that's great. And lots on your plate.
Yes. and
Only
it's
4
wonderful.
months into it.
4 months into it. I keep telling people, give me a little more time. But I think the thing that I like is I see excitement on the staff, on their face. I see them excited about what we're doing, and all the people that have come through and are excited about KVCR and said, we did not even know you were here. I'm like, now you do.
So in the last 4 minutes here,
Yes.
now we reel it all in.
Okay.
So you've heard all these great things about KVCR, and it's now called
KVCR Public Media.
KVCR Public Media. And I believe it's very easy to go to the website. The
Yes.
website is
kvcr.org, and
Easy.
when you get there, you can either do the radio side or the TV side, and you can donate to either one.
started off years ago as Valley College Radio.
That's exactly right.
KVCR.
Valley College Radio. Yes, I didn't learn that until I'd been there for about a month, and I'm like, that's amazing.
That applied to the TV as well.
Yes.
But, I went away after Valley College, and I was spoiled. I thought colleges will all have, 91.9 megahertz and KVCR and all this stuff and studios. And I walked into my four-year college. I'm like, what's this?
You're exactly right. Not everyone has what we have, and we're a dual licensee, having the radio and TV. There are only 3 of us in the state of California that are dual licensees.
And not many across the nation either.
No.
So if you want to help KVCR, if you want to support KVCR,
Yes.
you want to get involved, whatever, how should they do that?
Go online, like you said, kvcr.org. You'll hear all about us, ways to donate, the way you can help. Call in next week, and that number's on the website. I should have memorized it before we came in. And call and pledge, and call and say that you want to be a supporter. That what's your favorite show? Is it Lawrence Welk? Great. Can you pledge just X amount of dollars each week, each month for a year?
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you mentioned the foundation.
Yes.
Let's mention it one more time.
Yes, the Inland Futures Foundation.
Inland Futures Foundation.
So IFF, anyone who's got a lot of money that they would love to see go into public media, feel free to write a check. I'll write you a really nice thank you note.
Always, you don't have to. You probably have a place online where they can donate via
Yes.
debit card or credit card.
Yes,
these days.
absolutely. If you go to kvcr.org, we have any way that you would like to donate.
Cash
we will help
app,
you.
maybe. I don't even know.
Yeah, cash is a little more challenging. We would prefer not to have cash because we have to have a nice little paper trail.
No, it's called Cash App.
Oh, Cash App. Oh, I don't have that. I have Venmo, but I don't have the Cash App.
Cash App. Any way you can break it in, that sort of thing.
Gotcha.
'Cause
Yes.
it does take a lot of money and support to
It
keep
does.
an institution like KVCR going. It's had some challenging times, but I see it coming out and springing forward, and I look forward.
Thank you.
Look forward to it.
Good. Me too. I'm very excited about what the future holds.
That's right. So in the last minute here,
Okay.
here's what I do to my politicians.
Da-da-da-da-dum.
This is your time. Make your pitch, and you're on.
All right, very good. Come by KVCR 701 South Mount Vernon. Come by anytime and see us. Come by and take a tour of the studio. Go on kvcr.org. Become a member today. You will not be disappointed. Listen to us in the morning at 91.9, in the afternoon, anytime really, and turn on channel 24 or watch FNX and on your local BTV.
A great way to hear the news.
Yes, great way to hear the news. Local news.
Local news. And also unfiltered news.
Unfiltered news.
Through
Facts.
PBS.
Nothing
and
but the facts.
Nothing but the facts and no twists.
No
and
twists and turns.
It's not faux news media or
No.
anything like that.
Nope.
And it's public broadcasting. And it's also national public radio.
That's exactly right.
KVCR 91.9 and
Channel
24.
Yes, that's your local PBS station.
And you can find it digitally as well.
Yes.
And so it's been a pleasure having
Thank
Connie
you,
Lema,
Mark.
the director here. Connie, such a distinguished past. It's been an honor to have you. 8 years in the Senate, UFCW 14, 28, 12 years as Caliber Labor Foundation. Manny as well, who's a familiar face. I'm Mark Westwood, and we're here on Wednesdays at 3 p.m. And also, I invite you to join Eric Bauman on Wednesdays at 3. And we're here today at 2 p.m. And we're here anytime you want to find us, right here on KCAA 1050 AM, 106.5 FM. The stations that leave no listener behind. I'm Mark Westwood. Have a great afternoon, and keep it tweens the ditches.